Hi everyone, I'm Clayton from My Pets Brace. Welcome. I wanted to kind of take some time to show you around what we do. We're a full-service veterinary prosthetics and orthotics company. What that means is we see patients, mostly dogs, but occasional other animals too, and we make custom orthotics and prosthetics where we will see them for a particular injury and kind of make a product from there. I'm going to take you through each step of evaluating the patients, how the process works in the back, to how each step works to make a custom brace. So we're here in one of our exam rooms. We're seeing Maya today, and Corinne and Benji. They were nice enough to bring Maya in today. She has, from what I understand, a cruciate injury that's equivalent to an ACL tear in people. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some history and background of what a typical day is like for Maya, make sure that I understand what life is like so I can make sure that a brace for her might be appropriate. The goal of our brace that we make would be that she would wear it when she's active for about 9 months. With that time, she's able to build scar tissue and generally be more active. Everything is made here, and so I want to kind of show everybody the process of what the brace looks like, how it works, and then later we'll kind of take a sneak peek in the back and kind of show that process of how we make these braces for hundreds of dogs every month. So tell me a little bit more about Maya. What does a typical day for her look like? I see she's a little bit shy. Is she normally a little bit crazier?
She is.
Okay.
When she knows you and stuff like that, or she's familiar with you, she'll loosen up and everything.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, does she like to play fetch? What kind of things does she do?
She's not really too much into toys, but she does like her zoomies. When we go outside, we do have 2 other dogs.
Okay.
A 3-legged pit bull and a teacup Yorkie.
Okay.
But when we're outside, she likes to do her zoomies, run up hills, play with the other dogs. But one day when she was doing that, she messed up her leg and stuff like that. So.
Okay. How long ago was that? Do you remember?
3 weeks ago.
Okay. And so talk me about the process there. I mean, did you go to your vet right away? Did they tell you to wait a couple minutes, couple days?
When we noticed her leg, that she was limping and picking up her leg, we called our vet that day, and they made an appointment the next day.
Okay.
They did x-rays just to see how bad it was, or to see if there was anything torn or anything like that. And they came back and said it was, her CCL, ACL in the dog. And they suggested you guys, they had a brochure there, and they either said surgery or a brace, and we chose the brace, so that's why we're here.
Okay. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the injury itself. I've got some bones behind me. We can kind of show you that to help understand that process a little bit more. So this is a model of the bones. So this one's been through the ringer a few times. It's a little bit misshapen from how it would be, but dogs have the same bones in their legs that we do. We've got our thigh bone, which is the femur. We've got our shin bone, which is the tibia. Our little fibula here is long gone. I don't know where he went, but this injury, what happens is it lets this lower leg bone, the tibia, slide forward, like they call it a drawer sign. So if you think about how a drawer slides back and forth, that's what this injury causes. It lets that leg move forward too far. So if you think about, if we've got this movement here, we don't want that to happen anymore. So what we do with the brace, we're going to support the knee generally, make her feel more comfortable, and then put some pressure across that shin bone, across that tibia, to keep it lined up a little bit better and limit that drawer movement, or kind of close that drawer. If we can keep it from moving around so much, that can make her feel more comfortable and build scar tissue over the next 6 months, 9 months or so. So that's kind of a pretty basic explanation of the injury. Any questions on that? All right, Maya, we're going to take a cast of your leg, okay? So I've got my materials behind me. I'm going to get it real quick, and we're going to take the cast. That just takes a few minutes. We're going to wrap some fiberglass around her leg. It just takes a couple minutes to do that. All the while, we'll kind of chat a little bit more, learn more. Chrissy's here helping me to kind of help keep her still, and all the while I'm going to kind of feel that leg and see if I can feel that drawer movement that the vet talked about. So just kind of keep her head and shoulders kind of close to you, and I'm going to get my materials real quick. Okay. All right, Maya, we're going to put a sock on your leg. Good girl. So this starts to get a little bit warm as it gets firm, so she might get a little fidgety, or she might really enjoy the way it feels, who knows. So I'm taking a cast pretty much of her whole leg from below the ankle all the way up into the thigh and groin area. The brace itself won't be that long or that high, but we want to make sure we get a really great representation of her leg so we make a good fitting brace. Gets a little massage now. We're kind of rub everything down, make sure it all sticks nice. Good girl. I'm using my little marker here to mark where the knee is. Mark along my tube here. We use that tube so I can cut it off without poking her. That wouldn't be very fun, right? And we're going to cut it off now. So I've got my utility knife here. Just going to cut along the side real quick.
Good girl.
And there's her leg. So we use this to make her a brace. So when we have you back next time, we'll have the brace ready to go. So I've got Maya's cast here that we just took. Now Bree over here is going to pour this full of plaster. So this is our first step. I'm going to set this down and kind of show you. So behind me here, we fill these with plaster. And then once they're full of plaster, Bree strips the cast. So she's pulling the fiberglass that we made off of a model. From there, once that pops off, basically we have the interior of this cast. So can I borrow this real quick? So here's one that we took that's got stripped off. And now we've got a three-dimensional model of a leg. So after the cast gets shaved down, we smooth it in the sink, and then now Jen mixed up some plaster. So now she's applying that plaster in certain spots to kind of smooth everything down again. There's little dimples and dings and things like that. We want to add it in some spots to make sure it's nice and smooth. This takes a few minutes per leg, but there's a lot that goes into each step. Yeah, this is really where the fun part of understanding each dog and understanding what we're trying to do comes into play. We all have seen our individual patients and see, a lot of dogs every day to kind of understand what that process looks like and how their leg should look when it comes to making a brace. After this is done, I can show you the next step here in a minute. Now we're here at one of our pulling stations. Each one of these stations can hold a leg. So we've got a few that we're in the process of setting up right now. We've got our base layer of foam to help create a little bit more space in a particular area that we need. And then Kevin's getting another one set up here in a minute. But after we get this first little layer of foam, we have another layer that's going to go on top. So we can pull this around and then kind of explain some next steps. So this foam gets heated up, and then we gently drape it over the model, nice and snug. We've got our little dimples where the center of the knee is. So we cut that area out. And then in order to make the hinge portion of the brace, we've got these little dummy joints. We're going to tape these on so that the brace bends where it's supposed to bend. And when we pull the plastic over it, that'll create the pocket that we need for the brace to have its joints. I want to check to make sure that the joints are centered along the depth of the leg as well as at the right orientation. So I'm going to kind of look down, need to move those around a little bit. All right, this is ready for the next step. So once they're ready, the little dummy joints are on. They're covered in a little stocking. The stocking is there to kind of create a little air pocket so that when we put hot plastic in and we vacate all the air, we can create a little bit of space to pull everything down nice. So there's plastic in the oven right now. We'll come back to this one and see that process. All right, so we're here in the machine room now. I'm actually catching back up with Maya's leg here. They picked leopard. So here's a rough cut of both halves of Maya's leg. So in this room, we've got different machines that we've got this sander that we can take a lot of material away from the edges and the sides of the brace to get the basic shape. And then from there, we go to these machines. This is called a carver or a router. So if anybody's familiar with any woodworking, we use like a rougher, coarse grit to kind of sand away. We use this machine mainly to kind of sand away this knee hole so that it's nice and nice shape around the knee. So we would go from this coarse cone to get, again, rough shape, a lot of material taking away, down to this finer grit paper, maybe smaller radius if we need to, all on these machines. And then this pink cone that's here, this is like a polishing felt. So we don't want any rough edges, no sharp corners. Nothing in nature is sharp, at least not in something we want to put on our body. So we would use this polishing wheel to kind of create the final shape of the brace. So all the machining, all the refining happens in this room. So a lot of the guys are in here all day long making braces for dogs. So I'm going to just do a little quick machining of this to kind of show what this machine does. So this is a rough cone that's going to take a lot of material away. So the technicians would use these tools to kind of take more material away than this, but kind of create the shape that we need. We go down to finer and finer grit sandpaper to kind of refine that shape so it's really, really nice when we're done. After the machining is done, it goes back into our main lab area, main fabrication area, to be assembled. So we can check in with the guys and see what they're up to over there. We have one now that's finished machining. So what I was showing you in the machine room, this is what they look like when they're finished. The edges are nice and smooth. This is one that's being put together. So right now the hinges or the joints are in the brace. Michael's probably in the machine room or in the sewing room doing some other parts. So from here, we would pick what size buckles we might put on. So they would size up what size we want for these, drill some holes and put the buckles on. On the opposite side, we put our straps on the inside here. So then while we pick our straps and our buckles and then kind of put everything together from there. This takes about an hour or two to make one from this stage. And then when they're done, they get checked out, do some quality control, and then get ready to be delivered to a patient. So we've got Maya's brace here. That's we were working on after the casting last time. So it's got two halves. We've got a part that's going to go above the knee and a part that's go below the knee. And then we've got this piece that's going to wrap around her ankle to help hold it up. So I'm going to walk Corinne and Maya through how to put it on, how to take it off, make sure that they understand how to use it properly. And then we check in periodically to make sure things are going well. But yeah, we made this right here. Everything's ready to go. So let's see how it fits. We've got this suspension sleeve piece. This is going to wrap around the ankle. Everything's kind of marked up with some kind of numbers on the first strap we want to secure. And there's a little alignment mark here so we know where the brace hooks in to the sleeve. You can leave everything all attached as one most of the time. So the one that's labeled number 1 here, that's what we're going to put right around her little ankle bone, her heel there. Okay. So that's going to be our first strap. Goes right around that heel area. Not too tight. We don't want it to be squeezing too hard around that ankle. Okay. Then we can strap it from the bottom up from there. We've got the straps on these buckles here next. Excuse me. Everything's marked for you so you know how tight to pull everything. Okay.
And then the one right here, is that stabilized? That stays the way it is?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so this is a good question there. This is the one that's going to put some pressure on that shin to keep that drawer from happening. Yeah. So we'll double check the tension of that. But yeah, that doesn't have to be moved. Okay. Good. She's very big and strong. Mm-hmm. Good. That's just putting a little bit of pressure right there. Good. So you kind of acclimate her to this slowly over the next few weeks. Okay. The goal would be that you could put it on in the morning and take it off at night. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it's just going to be a few hours at first and kind of gradually build up from there. Thanks for taking the time to take a look around what we do here at My Pet's Brace. Once again, I'm Clayton. If you have any curiosity of what we do and how we do it, or have a pet that has an issue that you want to see if we can help, you can find our website at mypetsbrace.com. Thanks for your time.